I'd like to introduce myself. I'm an architect. I work for VELUX company, and I'm responsible, or I have in focus architecture issues for like a CEE region, but in the past really so much focusing Czech Republic and Slovakia. And as we already heard, so this holistic approach to an architecture, I'm very happy that I have this opportunity to take a little bit a detail which is like in my heart, and it's indoor environment in residential buildings and in our like living environment. Why I'm showing this picture, we have to feel at our homes like being outside during the warm spring day. That it means that we have to design buildings to feel like this. And we need all those things because they are important for our health, mental health, physical health, and all the other things. Before Corona, the World Health Organization told us this, that we spent 90% of our time indoors. I'm quite sure that during the time of Corona, this figure is even bigger. And if we will have a look to only like one point of quality of indoor environment, which is the daylight, because the other topics will be covered by the other panelists during the day. I would like just here say that this is not only the visual needs, but also this non-visual needs, which are important if we are talking about the daylight needs. Daylight really makes our daylight clock works. Let us sleep, wake us in the right time. But there are also so many huge studies which refer to the quality of learning, which is related to the quality of daylight and productivity. We are talking about like 15% productivity difference between good or bad daylight conditions. We know that speed of learning can be like rise up by less than 20%. Then really we need to focus on to get as much light inside than is possible. We have also this like technical visual needs, and if we would like to design something, we need some figures, and we know how much luxes we need for some activities. And by that, we have now the new tool, as I do not like so much any type of the restrictions. The legislation somehow has to lead us how to design spaces on the right way. And I really like the description of new legislation which comes to daylight, and it's valid for whole European countries. And it tells us that we need to avoid using artificial light during the day. And after that, define some figures which we need to fulfill. But the purpose is clear and it's sustainable. And we also can like define the minimum, medium, and high level of the quality, which is also very important, because if we are talking about spendings in architecture, spendings for living, we also know that we not everybody has the same budget for that. I will just quickly show an example what this new standard says. We need good daylight quality, and the typical room which was built in past years as the typical bedroom on the top floor with balcony window on the top now doesn't fulfill the daylight conditions. And you need to let the daylight goes to the room at least from two sides. Then we need to be careful in designing our spaces and internal spaces now. And we know from this period when we spent so many time on the home office, how the daylight conditions are really important for our productivity and stay awake and really wants to work. And if we have a look to the buildings as it is, and we do not face so much the new build because it's regulated and it's like our new stuff. But we have to look at our existing buildings. And if we ask people, every 1 of 6 Europeans, but 1 of 6 Czech, 1 of 6 Slovaks says that they are not like successful or they are not happy about their living. They have lack of daylight in 20%. They have lack of leaking roof. They have huge humidity. It's more than 20% in their homes. But what was a really scary figure for me, 23% of Czechs is not allowed to heat the room to comfort temperature because they do not have money for that. And this is really in those times like huge figure. But in the Europe, it's 20% everywhere. It's not that Czechs or Slovaks are not that rich as the other Europeans. And on the other hand, Europe spends like this 82 billion euros for to serve all the diseases, the asthma and all the things which comes from this purpose. And if I will show this figure, this picture, this is the small village next to Bratislava, nothing on the border, but existing buildings, how it looked like last autumn. And we have here like huge opportunity to change this thing. If we will teach people which are the owners of the houses how to make healthy renovation. It can bring them more space, more daylight. They will spend less energy. They will like make good heat protection for the summer. They have to think about some ventilation system, use the light shaft for getting better like air distribution. And also we have to learn them how to work in phases. And if like each owner of this old house will understand how to make principally the healthy renovation, it can bring like huge changes. For these typical houses, it can be, and we made a RenoActive project, and we like renovate one of those typical houses, and we were able to reduce the total energy need by the 80%. We bring there more than 35 more space for that living. And also, this is not only the figures, but the change of the type of the living, that we can bring like the living of the 21st century to these old houses and make the healthy indoor climate there with a good daylight distribution, perfect ventilation, using like the modern technologies, but keep this warm and the touch of the old buildings. We can really like make any huge change. Because we have old building stock, our renovation rate is not on the level which is which we are called for by the European Union for this like 1.2 renovation rate. We are so far from this, and if we will like inspire all the owners of these old houses to renovate houses by the right way, to have healthy indoor climate, we can also easily achieve our climate goals. And it was like briefly from my side. I don't know if you have any questions regarding that. I refer you to have a look to webpage of the RenoActive project and watch some videos which are there and see our Hučko family, which refers how it's look like when they are living in this such a renovated house. And please feel free to share this idea and think about how to also share this idea to all these neighbors, because if we are speaking about sustainability, it's not only about us to doing something, but also inspire the others to look at it that way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice presentation, nice timing. A few questions that come up in the context of what you're saying. I really like the story. Can you please expand on your project in Slovakia? Is it that you chose a family, an ordinary family, that you decided to actually create a case, a use case, how effective you can be? Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly as you said. We saw like huge potential at Slovakia, where those typical squared houses are really present a lot in the country. And we wanted to show, like, the showcase how to make these principles in like normal budget with the normal family, with a normal building company. With the normal materials which are in shops, not use nothing which is not available on places. And we wanted to show that it's possible to do it. People will understand it. And now we also share the project. All the people can download the project. And we also on board at Slovakia the civil engineers and architects who can like help the people to like copy these principles to the other houses. Then we hope that by this inspiration, we found that the huge difference between start renovate and not start and renovate is not enough of information, that people do not know what to do, how to do. There are so many informations on internet, but nothing like connected to their own situation.
And do you plan to create this case in the Czech Republic as well? Why Slovakia?
We do not, at the Czech Republic, we would like to share the knowledge, and we are working on some like more typical situation, how to explain the principles. But here we do not have such a like one house which is copied too many times. Then we would like to focus on row houses, which is like a little bit more typical for like villages when you see this old structure, how to renovate this type of houses. But the principles of renovation is the same, but we need to like find a way how to really connect in the mind of the end user that this can be also my house. But we are working on that, and if there are any partners who would like to join us in this activation process, I will love to discuss.
Well, they might hear you right now. There is a question from the audience. Do you have any calculation or any business use cases which show that also for the companies, it's also good for the companies, not only for ordinary homes, family, people, but also maybe SMEs?
We really focused on the family houses, and the case is based on the situation that in our region, like 85 or 90% of the family houses is occupied by people who owns this situation. That I can see that here we can have this like 15% of developers or renovator developers. It will be like a huge potential for them, because by repeating the process, they can really decrease the price for the renovation, because they will copy all this situation. But we didn't focus on that. We had some discussions. Again, if somebody would like to start this type of activity, let's contact us. We can discuss that, work on it.
Great. One more question. You, as a company, VELUX also focus on sustainability within the company and carbon neutrality. How is it going?
We are very ambitious, I have to say. Last year, we set a new strategy for the new period. And this strategy ends up in 2041, when we will be 100-year-old company. And for that time, we would like to achieve full carbon neutrality. That means that we will decrease all the carbon we need for production, distribution, and all the things, and carbon footprint for the product, but also we will pay back all the CO2 we already used by all these projects which are focusing the forests all around Europe, and all the support all the other activities for that purpose. That I have to say, we are in a building industry, the first company who took such a huge decision to be lifetime carbon neutral.
Well, I'm glad you do that. It's a great responsibility. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you too.
I will give a quick summary on what we just said before we move. We need the daylight and air in order to live healthy, and we simply spend so much time indoors like now. And focus on the right design of indoor spaces could be very important. But we don't build so much anymore. That is why we need to look and adjust to our current homes and focus on renovation. And there lies a great opportunity, business opportunity as well as the environmental one. And VELUX can offer solutions that reduce the total energy consumptions by large sums by doing smaller changes. However, the renovation rate is quite small in this country, and this needs to be changed.